With the new Dibble update officially hitting the live servers, I've realized I haven't shown Carnotaurus any love for over several months. Mutations are a thing now, and play a pretty big part in survival. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Anyways, let's head on in. As big as a Carno can grow, they are able to drift with their quick acceleration. Here we see the Juvie Carno practicing the motion, and is crucial to learn in order to prey on those with greater agility. Freshly spawning in, the Carno is starving, and wanders the South Plains searching for deer or prey its size. The Juvie hunts more than she can consume, but with such hunger needed satiated, it hunts all three fawns. Our Juvie sits in a bush waiting for prey. She needs lines to fill up a perfect diet, but all she can hear are potatoes and tenos. They are much larger of a threat compared to her. Maybe next time. Running through the forest towards West Rail access, the sun blinds our Carno momentarily while reaching the white sands. She notices something swimming. A raptor. Carno versus Raptors, the Carno comes out on top. She takes a lot of bleed damage, but is only severe if the fight was several minutes longer. As the victor, our Juvie enjoys her reward, the spoils of the hunt. GG's. Taking time to grow and in need of water, the Juvie Carno travels to the safest water spot at the southwest axis. Something is a little fishy here. There aren't usually any schools of fish. Smelling something decomposing around the river's banks, our Carno is curious to know what it is. Surely the rotting carcass was taken by hunger or nature. We are definitely not alone. A dino. Lucky for our Carno, the dino was lurking on the other side of the pond. There is a fresh boar carcass. The Juvie Carno uses it as bait. Knowing Dilos like to spawn in this area, they provide lines to complete the perfect diet, if she is lucky enough to catch one by surprise. She waits, but within minutes, a Dilo takes the bait. successful hunt. Although being closer to a fresh spawn, this Dilo will be more than enough to fill up her diet. While basking under the morning sun, the neighbor finally decides to greet us with its presence. Slightly terrified of the green dino, but a perfect opportunity to top off on water, the Carno trips over a rock and falls off the ledge, nearly breaking every bone in her body. Before leaving the southwest axis, a Pteranodon calls out in search of food. As a fresh spawn in the southwest axis, the Pteranodon is in a great disadvantage. Forming a relationship with a carnivore will increase the chances of survival to adulthood by tenfold. The juvie needs its teeth cleaned from dining on the Dilo the night before, so she decides to form this relationship in gifting a bullfrog in good faith. And so the bond has been made. The Pteranodon survives snacking on a bullfrog, while our Carno gets a nice dental work. Or so they thought. The Pteranodon brought fish to her. Not really what she had expected, but it's the thought that counts. It's alright, little guy. She didn't really need it anyways. After another day in the southwest axis, it was time to move on to a migration zone. Growing larger and in need of hunting, migrating was the best option to continue her growth to adulthood, and so the journey began. Traveling throughout the night until morning, she reached the northeast plains. The isle has its beauty among the chaos, but scenes such as this, one must take in and appreciate what has been created. And I crashed. I mean, a tsunami hit the isle unexpectedly, and so the Carno rested until the next day. And now she ascends the mountain to reach the migration zone. Running around aimlessly in the migration zone, just trying to find something to hunt, the area is barren of any life, not even a single deer. And so she rested to plan on which area to travel to. Starvation has kicked in for our Carno, and she needed food, fast. Dying of hunger is one of the worst scenarios, but sometimes the Isle provides. GG's. Our Carno would not waste a single bite. The Ceratosaurus was doomed the moment she laid eyes on it. Unfortunately, eating right after puking will only make matters worse when the Ceratosaurus bacteria is still in the bloodstream. It was only a matter of time before she was able to feast on the carcass. And with the final bite, the carcass was no longer but bones. The Carno could not survive in the Northeast Plains with only one encounter. The odds of running into another dino was highly unlikely, and so she left the barren Northeast Plains in search of a new hunting ground. While making her exit out of these plains, something stumbled out of the brush. In a fight or flight, our Carno nearly rammed a friendly Carno by accident. One should really not run out of the bushes so carelessly unless hunting. That was a very close call. Grouping with another Carno, she was in a pack, or trio. They soon traveled to the Highlands in search of food. Getting a next meal is always on the mind of a Carnotaurus. Traveling throughout the night, the Carno trio has entered the Highlands. With starvation around the corner, the pack needed to hunt. Sounds like a fight. A Stego versus a pack of Ceratosaurus. Sometimes the work is done for you, and contending a carcass against those that are wounded is a guaranteed meal, unless they'd like to take a losing battle. Our Carno contends for the Ceratosaurus carcass. This was an awkward scenario. The Ceratosaurus should not have eaten anything while being still in a fight with a Stego. The trio, now a pair of Ceratosaurus, had one wanting to contend and one giving up the carcass. Nonetheless, they ran back to the Stego to fight. Sometimes you just have to get your own hands dirty to clean up the aisle. It had to be done. Picking up a fourth Carno, the pack was growing larger, but with more mouths to feed, the more active the pack had to be. Also, the spot at Foot Lake in Highlands is not a favorable spot to drink from, but for now it's safe. Needing to cross over the dam, our Carno was careless in the descent to the lake's bank, and again, nearly breaking every bone. Waiting for an eternity for the legs to heal, the pack decides to travel through the cavern and hunt at the main area, until they notice a herd of Dibbles traveling the same path. Being extremely low on health, our Carno didn't want to take the fight, but would not sit by and watch as the pack fight a herd, especially a herd of Dibbles. Close quarters such as this was not in the Carno pack's favor. This was a great advantage for the Dibbles. And with that, the Carno learned her lesson. Never to fight a Dibble unless at full health. Scratch that. Just don't 1v1 a Dibble with a Carno. It's pointless. GG, Dibbles. The pack has reached the South Plains, and with nothing but baby and juvies running around. Sometimes after a loss, a small win is needed. A very small win in a snack size. After a long day of pain and suffering, our Carno is fully grown. She sleeps comfortably with the pack around her and closes her eyes. Just another day in the Isle. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please drop a like and consider subscribing, as it does help the channel grow. Also, I'm extremely appreciative for the 400 subs. Thank you so much for sticking around. And to those that have just joined the journey, I appreciate you as well. And as always, have a nice day or night wherever you're from. Bye-bye! That Dilo didn't even know what was coming.